The Nazis called her the most dangerous spy in all of France. She had a wooden leg. In 1943, Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon, was tearing apart southern France looking for one woman. He had her face on wanted posters across the country. He'd interrogated dozens of people trying to find her, and in a fit of rage, he reportedly screamed, "I would give anything to get my hands on that limping Canadian bitch." He got two things wrong. She wasn't Canadian, and he would never catch her. Her name was Virginia Hall, and this is the story of how a woman with one leg became the most feared Allied spy of World War II. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the CIA, British intelligence, and the French resistance all claim her as their own, and why almost nobody has heard of her. Let's start at the beginning. Virginia Hall was born in 1906 in Baltimore, Maryland, to a wealthy family. She was brilliant, fluent in French, German, and Italian. She studied at Radcliffe, Barnard, and the Sorbonne in Paris. She was athletic, sharp, and funny, and she had one dream. She wanted to be a diplomat. In 1931, she got her foot in the door, a consular clerk position at the American Embassy, first in Warsaw, then in Turkey. She was on her way. Then, everything changed. In December 1933, Virginia went bird hunting with friends near Smyrna, Turkey. She was climbing over a wire fence when she slipped. Her shotgun discharged. A 12-gauge blast tore through her left foot. Gangrene set in. Doctors amputated her leg below the knee. She was 27 years old. In place of her left leg, she was fitted with a 7-pound wooden prosthetic. She named it Cuthbert, and she learned to walk again, then run, then hike mountains. Because Virginia Hall was not the kind of person who quit, but the U.S. State Department was. When she applied for a diplomatic position, they rejected her, explicitly, because of her disability. An amendment to the Foreign Service rules banned anyone with an amputation. The country she loved told her she wasn't whole enough to serve it, so she went to find someone who would let her. When World War II erupted, Virginia was in Paris. She volunteered to drive ambulances for the French army. When France fell to the Nazis in 1940, she escaped to England, and that's where everything changed. British intelligence was desperate. They needed agents who could speak fluent French, who knew the country, who could blend in. Virginia Hall was exactly what they were looking for. In 1941, the Special Operations Executive, Churchill's secret army, recruited her. There was just one problem. She had a wooden leg, and she was about to be dropped into Nazi-occupied France. In August 1941, Virginia arrived in Vichy, France. She was the first female SOE agent to take up residence in the country. Her cover? An American journalist for the New York Post. Underneath that cover, she built an entire spy network from scratch. They called it the Heckler Network, based in Lyon, and Virginia ran it like a general. She organized resistance cells across southern France. She set up safe houses. She mapped drop zones for weapons and supplies. She reported German troop movements back to London. She arranged escapes for downed Allied pilots. She even masterminded jailbreaks, busting captured agents out of French prisons. For 15 months, she operated right under the Gestapo's nose, a woman with a limp, doing what entire military units couldn't do. But Klaus Barbie was closing in. Barbie was the head of the Gestapo in Lyon, a sadist, a torturer. He personally beat prisoners to death, and he was obsessed with finding the mysterious woman who kept humiliating his intelligence network. He distributed wanted posters across Lyon. The limping lady. He knew her description, but not her name, not even her nationality. That's how good she was. Informers were everywhere. The net was tightening. Virginia knew it was only a matter of time. Then, on November 7, 1942, the American consulate delivered an urgent warning. The Allies were about to invade North Africa. The Germans would retaliate by occupying all of Vichy, France. Barbie would have free reign. She had hours to get out. Virginia didn't hesitate. She took a train to Perpignan, near the Spanish border. From there, she hired a mountain guide. Her escape route? 50 miles over the Pyrenees Mountains, in November, through heavy snow, at 7,500 feet, with a wooden leg. For 2 days, she climbed. The cold was brutal. Cuthbert chafed and tore at the stump of her leg. Every step was agony, but she kept going. At a safe house in the mountains, she managed to radio London. Her message was simple. "I hope Cuthbert is giving me no trouble." Her handlers didn't understand the code name. They radioed back. "If Cuthbert is troublesome, eliminate him." She made it to Spain. Barely. Most people would have been done. Virginia had cheated death, escaped the Gestapo, crossed a mountain range on a wooden leg. She could have gone home. She could have written a book. She could have rested. Instead, she asked to go back. The SOE said no. She was compromised. Too many people had seen her face. It was too dangerous. So Virginia did what Virginia always did. She found another way. She learned Morse code. She contacted the American Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, the precursor to the CIA. They hired her as a second lieutenant. In March 1944, 3 months before D-Day, Virginia Hall returned to France, by boat. In disguise, she dyed her hair gray. She wore heavy peasant clothes to alter her silhouette. She changed the way she walked, stuffing her shoes to hide the limp, so no one would recognize the limping lady. And then, she went back to work. This time, she wasn't just running a spy network, she was building an army. In the Haute-Loire region, she organized and armed 3 battalions of French resistance fighters, several thousand guerrilla soldiers, trained and coordinated by a woman with a prosthetic leg behind enemy lines. When D-Day came on June 6, 1944, her fighters were ready. They blew up bridges, they cut rail lines, they ambushed German convoys, they destroyed communication cables. Virginia's resistance fighters captured an entire German garrison, taking 500 prisoners. A one-legged American woman had done more damage to the Nazi war machine than some entire Allied divisions. After the war, Virginia Hall received the Distinguished Service Cross, the only civilian woman in World War II to receive it. President Truman wanted to present it at a White House ceremony. Virginia refused. She said a public ceremony would blow her cover. She still wanted to be a spy. The British awarded her an honorary member of the Order of the British Empire. The French gave her the Croix de Guerre. The woman the State Department said wasn't whole enough to serve had become the most decorated female spy in American history. She joined the CIA when it was founded and served for 15 more years. But even there, she was passed over for promotions, discriminated against because she was a woman. She retired quietly in 1966. Virginia Hall died in 1982 at the age of 76. She never wrote a memoir. She never gave interviews. She never sought fame. So let's bring it together. Virginia Hall lost her leg at 27 and was told she could never serve her country. She became the most wanted spy in Nazi-occupied France. She escaped the Gestapo on a wooden leg across the Pyrenees. She went back, built a guerrilla army, and helped liberate France. And then she spent the rest of her life in the shadows, because serving was enough. Next time someone tells you the odds are against you, remember the limping lady, the woman who proved that the only real disability is the refusal to adapt. If this story gave you chills, drop a comment below. And if you want more stories of people who changed history from the shadows, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.